Welcome everybody to another edition of Free Dad Bods with Brent, Carl, and John. Welcome, guys.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey, good to see you both.
I want to start off because I have a follow-up story to one of my get off the lawn moments. To recap,
he's ready to go.
I am ready to go. And to recap that story, I had a story about a guy that was walking up the street and he hit my dog as my dog came at him. The old guy, remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, the other day I saw him walking up the street again. It's really hot outside, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to grab a bottle of water. So went in, grabbed a bottle of water. I went on over to him. I was like, hey, man, the other day, kind of lost my temper and stuff, and, so I went to hand him, the bottle of water, and I hit the motherfucker in the head with the bottle of water, and he dropped to the ground, and I opened that bottle, and I poured it on his head, and I said, how's that, bitch? Dropped it like a mic drop, and then walked away.
I say bullshit.
Then you woke up.
Yeah.
True story, man. True story. I was the better man.
Tracy's going to have to pull your ass out of jail one of these days. Seriously. Wow. Tracy, and you should get Tracy on. I want to confirm this story because I don't believe a second of it.
If you're going to do that, you need to at least keep a bottle of frozen water available.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? Yeah, exactly.
Hey, look, when I was younger, I learned kindness begins with me. And I hit that kind motherfucker in the head, and it ended with me.
Did that include self-love?
It did. It was a lot of self-love. I prayed for him later.
After our sex episode, now we're rated R within about 3 minutes of the new podcast.
Like that. Welcome.
Yeah. Can't listen now, Mom or Dad. Thanks. All right. Jeez,
hey,
my goodness.
Guess what? Your mom and dad weren't listening anyway. It's okay.
Yeah. They knew you were on it, and they were like, boy, that boy don't listen anyway, so why should we listen at all?
It's about college football. Who cares, right? This next one. Hey, I want you guys to see that is the best gas station in America, baby, by far.
I like the little hat, man. It's cute.
It's cute, isn't it? Got a little Bucky. Little Bucky. You're jealous, Sean. I can see it. Yeah, you're looking at it going, I wish I had a Bucky.
You guys ever go to a Bucky? Maybe one day we can get Bucky's to sponsor us. How would that be, man?
Hey, I did land our little 30-second Bucky conversation on their main page. So we got like 300 or 400 people looking at it. So yeah, we'll do it.
Nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
Go Buckies.
Hey,
all right.
I love
free advertising for our 25 listeners. All right. Woohoo! Go, baby. Anyway.
So I've got our unusual news story of the week.
Okay.
This one actually comes from CBS News. So it's a hot story. This was back in May. And it's a story. Hundreds of pounds of cooked pasta mysteriously dumped in the New Jersey woods.
It was
That's
cooked,
right.
Though.
Oh, imagine going for a leisurely hike and stumbling upon mounds of pasta in the woods. It seems highly unlikely unless you were recently walking near the river basin in Old Bridge, New Jersey, where hundreds of pounds of cooked pasta were dumped in the area last month. Their origins remain a mystery. I think it's aliens, of course. Nina, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last name, who ran for city council, a town of 66,000 people, posted images of the piles of pasta in a Facebook group, thanking the Public Works Department for cleaning up the estimated 500-pound mess. 500 pounds of cooked pasta.
Imagine if you're the police officer asked to investigate that. You check. I think the first place you'd have to check is all the local Italian restaurants, don't you? Especially in Jersey.
It didn't say it was Italian pasta. It just said pasta. There's Asian pasta.
Oh, I'm sure it was Asian pasta in New Jersey, Sean. Come on.
This is the best part, though. While the visual of spaghetti and macaroni becoming one with nature is
spaghetti.
off-putting, many found humor in the peculiar sight, who called it Mission Impossible.
Oh my! You start with an F-bomb, and then you end up with corn. I love it, Brett. You're really starting to roll this one.
Unusual news story of the week.
Well, I woke you up, didn't it, Sean?
Oh gosh, no! I wish it put me to sleep. That
was interesting, Brent.
Really terrible.
I enjoyed that story. Thank you.
Was it in the
I'm not gonna
woods?
lie. It was in the woods.
No pasta sauce, though? There was no sauce.
Off the road, in the woods, off of a trail. So somebody hauled 500 pounds of pasta, spaghetti, and dumped it. Like, why wouldn't you give that shit to homeless people or something, you know?
I'm surprised.
Maybe they just thought that somebody in the woods would eat it.
Wildlife didn't like it.
Or the animals. Yeah.
Well,
that's how bad the food was.
if
they were like, I ain't eating that. No way.
If it was cooked pasta, it had to have been pretty fresh. It wouldn't have been dried out or anything yet. So,
well, 500 pounds of cooked pasta was probably only, 100 pounds of dry pasta?
It's still a chore, though, to haul 500 pounds of pasta into the woods.
That's a good point. I mean,
they didn't want anybody tasting that recipe.
I just imagine if you had to make the gravy, Italian gravy for all that. That would.
How pissed would you be making all that, and then it just ends up dumped in the woods, man?
Absolutely. It must have been it's got to be Italian restaurants out of business now. He was all
maybe
pissed.
They did.
Yeah.
Maybe they tried to give it to the homeless people, and the homeless people were like, God, this tastes like shit, man.
This tastes like shit. No. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah. I'd rather be hungry.
So what else did you guys up to this week? Anything exciting? Sean?
I've been working a lot.
Yeah, that's
not exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Brett, you? Any good movies?
No.
Excuse me.
Haven't seen any movies at all. I started watching that re-release of the first Dune movie so I could get ready for the second Dune movie because I saw that preview and it looks pretty incredible, you know? So, and then I remembered how boring the original Dune movie was.
I did get out and see that Oppenheimer. So,
how was it? I heard it's really long. Was it good?
It's a biop about Oppenheimer, right? But
yeah.
I was hoping there was going to be a little more information about the Manhattan Project. And, someone said, well, it was about him. I'm like, well, great. I understand that. But they spent
But him is the Manhattan. That's what he is.
Right. But the thing is, they spent a ton of time because Robert Downey Jr. was in it, and he played this guy named Strauss, who was a political figure
Levi?
at the time. No, but I forgot his Leo Strauss. And he was actually in the Eisenhower cabinet. And so Leo and Oppenheimer had kind of they were both on the Atomic Energy Commission, and Strauss helped. Strauss didn't like Oppenheimer because he felt slighted because Oppenheimer, and he was kind of, he was the typical intellectual with razor sharp, no filter at times, and so a lot of the movie became about their conflict, which, and they threw in some, female, relationships he had, but the way it's kind of like, did you guys see Dunkirk? Do you remember? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
His version? Okay. I hated that. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love the cinematography, but the whole storyline was just crazy, like typical Nolan. And Oppenheimer was kind of the same, not as all over the place, but enough that I'm just like, is Nolan as good as everybody thinks he is? In his early days he was, but I just, is it a good show to watch once? Yeah, but I don't think I would spend more money on it.
Did it drag on?
It did. A lot of there's some kids walking out when I was walking out. They're like, "Oh my god, it took forever. Well, I fell asleep." I'm like, "You're a kid, man." So I wouldn't advise bringing kids to it. I mean, if you're a history buff like Sean, I'm a history buff. I mean, it's interesting, but like I said, I mean, I would have preferred to hear more about the Manhattan Project, Los Alamos, and some of the stories that I know occurred that they didn't bring up. That would have been kind of cool, but they didn't. And even the atomic explosion was, it wasn't. I heard it was going to blow me away. So all these expectations before the show were being thrown, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to walk out in tears. And I walked out going, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, one thing though, and it's kind of funny because I will say this, it did make me feel though that, we sometimes, based on the political things going on right now in Ukraine and Russia, we should respect nuclear weapons a little more than we do. And I wonder, in the 80s, I used to think the anti-nuke crowd were the
hippies?
What we see, the hippies and the radicals that we see now. That sometimes like the BLM crowd and the LGBTQ plus crowd. Those same people, in the 80s, I was like with the peace people. I was like, oh man, those guys are all communists, and they're, now though, I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm not necessarily looking at their movement as something I'd want to be a part of, but I am respectful of the fact that these nuclear weapons are dangerous. And it's not as much the nuclear weapon as the human beings that control them. And
correct.
That, I will agree with Oppenheimer. Did he do a service to mankind? I mean, when you look at what was really going on when they finally said, okay, release the nuclear weapons, Truman, did he really need to? Some will argue, yeah, you would have lost a lot of American lives. And they might be right. That's the argument I always took. But, I mean, they were pretty much beaten by the time we dropped the first bomb. And so
hundreds of thousands of innocent people. Could we have just
demonstrated on an island close to Japan what these weapons could do if they don't, Sean, you agree on that?
100%. 100%.
I think it took the moral high ground away from the United States when we eradicated 200,000 Japanese.
I don't. It's easy to pass judgment in retrospect on that kind of stuff because we have the benefit of seeing what happened versus theoretically what could happen, and they pretty much knew what would happen. But I don't know. It's history in retrospect. It's always difficult. But I would say that I think that it would have been wise to do a demonstration of what could happen. Mm-hmm. Because
instead of slaughtering hundreds of thousands of people and then decades upon decades to clean up what had happened.
Well, it just makes it easier to use it again on a civilian.
I don't agree with that actually, Carl.
Oh, okay.
I think that because it's been used in the two locations in Japan, and people understand exactly what happens, I think that actually creates a greater deterrent. So, in some ways, we can say dropping it on an uninhabited area as a demonstration would have been good, and we can't say that. But the fact that they did it where they did it, I think it becomes a huge pointer of, oh my gosh, can never do this again. This is so horrific.
Yeah. And you look at the after effects of the people in New Mexico too, that were in the outlying areas, even miles and miles from the testing site. If you guys want to read, and I encourage our listeners to, maybe Google the actual accounts of the people who witnessed that blast in New Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Read those.
Oh yeah.
And they're not glamorous. They're not, hey, we got it going on here. It's not like that at all. It is It is appalling. It's frightening. It's scary. And what they witness, they knew seeing that could be the end of the world. It really could be in the wrong hands.
They have some previews in the movie. If you watched them, there was some serious concern. Not like, I mean, less than a 1% chance of this happening, but there was a theoretical concern that if they pushed the button, that the whole world would have gone up in a nuclear explosion because of the chain reaction. So, I mean, even right to the moment they tested it, there was a little bit of a lingering, so I think I think they dramaed it up, of course, but they even had the red button, man. It was like a huge red button in the show. I have to read again the history again to see if that's actually true or not. But I mean, I would, if you don't have anything else to do, I mean, I didn't see Barbie and I have no plans on it. So if it's Barbie or that, I'm going to that. If it's
Mission Impossible, go see Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's
Great
the one
movie.
I'm taking my son to that tonight. So
go back and watch Indiana Jones again, because I thought
like
the fourth one was good. I thought it was a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely better than the one with Shia LaBeouf or whatever his name is.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
I never saw that one.
I didn't think it was terrible,
lucky.
But
the Crystal Skull.
Yeah. The last 5 minutes where they start getting into the crazy bull crap about aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wrote that part.
Brett might have.
That was my writing.
Yeah.
It's
my script.
I think you need to go watch it, Brent.
Yeah, Brett, you might like that show. I mean, we should buy it for him. He can keep it on video.
Embrace my friends from other
Brett, we lost
hemispheres. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah. Brent, why are you wearing your Utah shirt and that disgusting?
No, I'm not wearing a Utah hat. I'm not wearing a Utah hat. I'm wearing a Tennessee shirt.
Oh, you're wearing a Tennessee shirt.
Tennessee shirt.
Oh, okay.
Because financially, I support the University of Tennessee and my beloved Utes. So, listeners, we are kicking off the non-existent, terribly predicted, way too early college football predictions from 3 Dad Bods.
Oh, it's going to be a great one.
It is. And look, I'm always excited for college football. I love college football. Many people love college football. I love it more than the NFL. I love the tradition. I love the pageantry. I'm going to say, though, that I agree. I don't know if you guys heard Lane Kiffin's comments during the SEC press conference earlier this week, but he basically ripped on NIL and he ripped on the transfer portal and is saying that it's destroying college football and college athletics, and he is 100% right. And I think in the past we've seen these Cinderella football teams. We've seen a TCU. I don't know if you really call TCU a Cinderella because they were in a Big 12, but they're one of these quote-unquote outside teams. We saw Cincinnati the year before. Yeah, exactly. I think with the emergence of NIL now, we're now into year 3 of it.
Two, yeah.
We're going to see that disappear because these universities, the Texas, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Oklahomas, the USCs, they have way too much money. These other teams cannot compete against that type of money bringing this type of athlete in. And then you have the transfer portal where if a player is benched because he's not performing well and he's going to go here and then he does okay here and he goes here, it's bounce around. It's like free agency.
Yeah, well
it's becoming like the NFL.
Well, the problem is the NCAA is – oh, sorry, Sean. I was going to say the NCAA – I'll just finish it real quick. The NCAA is not effective. We can agree on that. And because of that lawsuit. And so Congress right now, from what I understand, is looking to pass some rules to give the NCAA more power. in college football.
Why?
Strange as that sounds.
Why?
I don't know. That.
Yeah, but that's what's happening.
The college experts in Congress? Is that what? Ortiz, Ortega.
Their argument is because they support public universities. Like government will support public universities. We're not talking private ones. That they have the ability to, because federal aid. I mean, you're giving school aid to FAFSA.
What's that got to do with college athletics?
It's controlled by the federal government,
Nothing.
Sean. Well, they can decide what they want to do with it.
It's got nothing to do with it. Tuition.
No, I know. It regards scholarships
athletics.
It regards money to pay for tuition for students.
No, that's all based off of the NCAA rules of having academic scholarships on a football team for, 65 players? That's governed by the NCAA. It has nothing to do with Congress.
I'm just saying the federal government looks at inequity in any situation as a terrible thing, and NIL has been out of control. Let's be honest on that. And unless the big schools are willing to police it themselves, which hasn't shown to be the case, the NCAA should be the one doing that, and they haven't been because they feel they're hamstrung because of the legal issues. Now, the Supreme Court, it's going to be interesting what happens because either the state legislatures are going to have to get involved. Well, they don't have to get involved, but they will get involved, or the Congress is looking like they're getting involved because there are two Democrats and a Republican that are bipartisanly pushing this. I'll get the info on it for you guys, but it's already happening. So that's why it'd be important for the schools involved to just police themselves at this point and keep the government out of it. But how?
Create a salary cap, just like in pro sports. You create a salary cap.
Yeah,
and you're as a university, you are allowed to have this much money given to athletes, and however you want that. If you want it all to go to your quarterback, that's your choice. Whatever you want, Yeah. But create a salary cap.
I agree 100% with that.
I think the portal can be changed whenever they want to change it. That shouldn't be that difficult.
And I think they have made a couple adjustments with that, but.
Why don't they just do it after the season's over completely?
Here's the problem. Here's the problem that you have with a transfer
when
portal.
You can transfer now versus before. There's a window. Yeah.
All right, good.
But the problem that you get with the transfer portal is if I am a student, not an athlete, if I am a student who is in biochemical engineering, I don't know, whatever, mathematics, okay? And I attend my freshman year at a school, and I decide that I don't like it, I can go to another school, okay?
Absolutely.
Now, that's where the trickiness comes in the transfer portal, because why is one student allowed to do that, but another student isn't allowed to do that? And that same student can receive a scholarship from a Harvard and take that, or he could go the next year and receive another scholarship from a Northwestern.
Yeah, they all can right now.
They can transfer out.
No, what I'm saying though, that's what I'm saying though. That's why it has to remain in effect, because if you take that away from the transfer portal,
we're just talking about when it's applicable. Yeah,
I know, but that's what I'm saying though. You can't do that, because then you would have to do that for every single student that applies.
No, because I can't transfer to Utah State if I'm at Idaho State just whenever the hell I want. I have to do it within what their admission policy is, whichever
between semesters.
That's why I think if you just put the transfer portal in that period of time, you should be okay.
That's essentially what they've done.
I think they do have a transfer portal time. They do have a time.
They do. They can't transfer into another program during the season.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I agree. I agree that it should be like every other student, because, I mean, you look at it, I mean, some people, I don't think three of us do, but I have heard some fans bitch about the fact that, if they take a 4-year scholarship, they should have to fulfill the scholarship. And does
it happen to a regular student?
They're not 4-year scholarships.
They're not.
They're 1 year.
Year to year. Mm-hmm.
Year to year.
Yep.
Number 2, that coach can decide at any time, or a new coach that comes in, to kick your ass off the team. So there's no
or he leaves.
Colorado.
The coach leaves.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And 85% of last year's team is gone.
Yeah, he told him to get out.
Yeah. So I don't feel sorry for the schools, but I do think there needs to be some regulation as far as when they can transfer.
You know what's interesting about you, Carl? This is not the first podcast where you're advocating for government intervention, and
I know. I'm
it makes me want to throw up a little bit. I won't lie.
I must be a Marxist. I don't know. I must be.
I think
your dad's so disappointed.
The older I get, the more liberal I get, I guess. I don't know.
So let's jump ahead to the end of the season. I'm curious who you guys have set inside your playoff predictions.
You want my emotional
list? Yeah.
Emotional list. Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
No. Let's do realistic ones.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know how anybody can go outside of Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, and Ohio State.
That's not bad.
That's a good one.
Penn State, that's a little bit of a reach, but they have the ability to do it.
Not really. I don't.
They're loaded. They have everybody back. Everybody comes back from that team, and that team was very good.
Yeah, it'd be a good dark horse pick compared to.
They look very good in the Rose Bowl.
Sean are saying so.
What about you, Carl?
Well, I mean, you can't go against Georgia because Georgia has absolutely dominated. So Georgia won. I think Michigan's got a great new quarterback, and I think he's going to be really good this year. And they have a good defense, and they have a good running team. So Michigan 2, Ohio State, or Texas 3. Then Texas.
You got to pick. You can't say or. So you're going
Ohio
then 3
State
and 4.
3, Texas 4. Quit shaking your
and
head,
that's
Sean. 5.
So that's no. We didn't say 5. We said our playoff. There's no 5. There's no 5. There's no 5. There's no 5. We never said that. Listen.
Shut up.
Listen. Playoff prediction.
This is the 20th week in a row where we're telling Carl the list.
Well, here's the thing.
Good God.
Because I think you should have a number 5 on this list. Because
we're talking about the 4 at the end. I said fast forward to the end of the season.
That's fine. I won't put the Pac-10 team in then. That's fine. That's cool.
That's fine.
I don't care if you don't put the Pac-10 team or 12 team in. I don't.
They're going to be Utah anyway. So
who?
I doubt it.
USC.
Utah owns USC.
Yeah, we'll see.
Utah's USC's daddy.
Go mighty Trojans! Since I can't play you guys this year.
Ripping the rubber, just like me.
All right, Brent, what's your top 4?
First of all, I think anybody's insane who leaves Alabama out. Because if you don't think all summer long, all spring, that Nick Saban's been talking about every conversation, they left us out, they left us out, they left us out, they left us out, they left us out. Every game film, everything that they do, it's goat fuel. That is absolute goat fuel, and he's going to come back with vengeance. So I've got Georgia, just like you guys. I got the top 4, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Alabama. And I think there's one thing or two things that drive it. One, they got a ton of talent, and 2, I think it's because of that NIL. They're just divvying out the most amount of money that's sitting inside that NIL. Now, Carl and I were talking about this earlier. UT balls. Name one other team that ever has a tougher schedule than UT. You can't do that. And the reason why I say that, every single year, they have to play Alabama and Georgia. Every single year. And then if you beat both of those teams, you'll probably have to go up against a pretty tough LSU team in that championship game.
Who does Alabama play this year? They usually have an easy non-conference.
They can have the easiest non-schedule as it is. When you get inside the SEC, it's just brutal. It's an absolute blood. And they lost 2 games last year by a total of 3 points.
Alabama,
a total of 3 points.
Right, let me see their schedule this year. Let's see here. They play
they're playing
Middle Tennessee. First test. All right, we'll see if I'm right on Texas, because Texas plays them on the second game of the year.
Yeah. That's going to say a lot about Texas. who has a lot of NIL
Alabama.
money.
If they don't beat Texas at home, then Alabama has no shot at getting in the top 4.
I don't think it's a home game, though. I think it's probably like in Texas Stadium or something like that. I think it's one of them road type of deals.
It is a home game, isn't it? They play in Alabama.
They do play at Alabama?
Yeah.
No way in hell that Texas wins.
Then Tennessee is a home game this year. LSU is a home game. And then they play at
the two
Auburn.
teams that they lost to on the road, by the way. And if you go to LSU at nighttime and try to win, doesn't happen.
They play at Texas A&M and at Mississippi State. So, Texas A&M is a little better this year.
Alabama's going to be undefeated this year.
Texas A&M is the most overrated team that there is. They always are. They have the best talent, but Jimbo Fisher just can't do it.
He's not a he's a good coordinator. I disagree on that. Terrible head coach.
Yep.
Okay. So the only real big dispute is I don't know. Penn State's got a tough road to go through Michigan and Ohio State to get to the playoff.
They do, but they're loaded. So is Michigan, and so is Ohio State. They're loaded.
See, now let's look at what Texas has to do to roll through. All they have to do is beat Alabama. Then they've got an easy schedule from that point on. All the way
Oklahoma.
It's because they're in the, what do you call it, the Big 12?
They play Oklahoma at home, though.
It's the worst conference in
America. They don't play Oklahoma at home.
Well,
they play Oklahoma in Dallas.
It's a Cotton Bowl, yeah. Well, it's still Texas.
But it's a Red River rivalry. I mean, there's no home advantage. That stadium is filled 50-50. It's the most incredible thing you've seen. Half of it will be burnt orange, half of it will be red. It's incredible. One of the best rivalries there is.
They even play Kansas State, which is probably the best Big 12 team, at home. So they play TCU at TCU, though. That might be a tougher game for them.
Where do they play that junior college team?
They play them at home. Yeah, go Taysom Hill on them again. That'd be funny. But it's not that I will love Texas. I just don't think. I think when they get in the SEC, they're going to get their asses handed to them. Oh man, it's going to be ugly. So,
it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be that easy road and getting all that money that they've been getting for years and years and decades.
Here's one that I think is a possible dark horse. They shouldn't be because they're
let's do dark horses.
Really good.
Let's do dark horses.
Clemson.
Yeah, you can't not include them.
They're
easy schedule.
I was going to say, do they play any tough games to start out with? Because usually they're.
Dabo's a great coach. Dabo is really a good coach.
Sweeney's an amazing coach.
Freaking easy schedules.
I don't think you can count them out just because they're playing the likes of Boston College and.
They do have Florida State.
They have
a lot of people
State
putting a lot of stuff on Florida State.
And Notre Dame, they play at home. Those are the only home games.
And Clemson at nighttime at home, that place is rocking. Have you ever seen the way they enter the stadium? They have the buses. Defense is on one bus, offense is on another bus, and like the lights are just flashing and everything. And these buses, they're just showing on the screen. These buses are pulling around the side. It's cheesy as it sounds, but it's incredible tradition. They get off, they get up, they start running down that hill, patting that rock as they come on down. That place just explodes. It's incredible, man. I love college football. Love college football.
We'll know if Clemson's in the playoff by September 23rd, because if they get past Florida State, all they'd have to do is beat Notre Dame at home, and they're going to slide right in pretty easily. So,
all right, so Carl, you got Clemson. Sean, who do you have as a dark horse?
I'm going to go with Notre Dame.
Really? I think they're going to fall. I think they're going to fall hard. And they're going to have a new coach at the end of the year.
Yeah.
They have to play Ohio State. They also have to play...
I don't like the coach.
USC. They have to play Clemson. And I don't think they get past any of those games.
I just can't think of anybody else that I mean, if I go dark horse, I didn't pick Michigan. I mean, how do you call it?
It's not really a dark horse, though.
It's not. Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think you kind of went dark horse with Penn State. I think you kind of went dark horse with it.
I think Penn State's a good dark horse pick. That's probably the best one Because, if they do beat both Michigan and Ohio State, how could you not?
I'll go with the University of Minnesota. How's that?
I love Fleck. I love that Coach Fleck, man. That guy is a motivator. He really is, man.
I love him. They just gave him a raise, so that's good.
Let's really have some fun. Okay, let's go over the Ute schedule. Then we're going over my kid's schedule.
Do I not give my?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brent.
You
pay attention.
You said
I never gave my dark horse.
Chattanooga. You said Tennessee Chattanooga.
Yeah.
No. My dark horse is. Utes.
Oh.
First game of the season, they beat Florida. Then they knock off USC. They run the table. They have a good chance to do that. That's my dark horse. You get an undefeated Pac-12 team, they're going to be in there as a dark horse.
Yeah, so my only problem with that, and as much as I love the Utes, I don't know that they're going to have Cam Rising for the first 2 or 3 games.
He's there. He's going to be there on the first game.
Yeah, they said that. We'll see. It's a big injury to come back from.
Yeah. And as long as he stays healthy, there's my dark horse. Sorry, Carl.
Not even in a million years. But okay, enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can.
Well,
Cam gets injured in the second or third game, and then what do you nothing.
However, I'm going to say they will be the number 4 team, and they'll have to play Georgia, and they'll probably get beat 56-0. But, hey.
They're not even going to be in the freaking playoff. I'm going to hate to disappoint you poor U fans.
Next year. They will be next year, if not this year.
Next year they might be. Sean's right. They have 12 teams in there next year. So let's look at the Ute schedule. Let's look at it.
Yeah, pretty powerful.
They play Florida at home.
I think their biggest problem is going to be at Baylor.
They do play at Baylor the next week, or 2 weeks later. No, it's a week later because they play a Thursday night, then the following Saturday. Both are on ESPN too, guys, so you can get all jacked up and disappointed when they lose one of those two. They play.
I'm not worried about Baylor as much as I am with USC and Washington.
Well, let's see their Pac-12 schedule away.
I don't disagree with that at all. They're in USC. Caleb Williams has a burr up his butt about the Utes.
I think they still win. I think the Utes still win because they have something in his head. They really do.
That's true.
I think they play at Oregon State, dangerous game. They play at USC. Yeah. They play Oregon at home, which surprisingly they've lost to Oregon at home several times.
Not in the last couple of years, though.
Arizona State should be an easy victory. They play at Washington. That'll be a tough game.
And that's going to be a tough game.
I think
that'll be a nighttime game. Should be nighttime in Seattle. That's going to be a tough one. So if they can clear that schedule, that pays it pretty good. No, I'm talking about the Washington game. The Washington game. It'll be at nighttime. It'll be in Seattle. That place will be rocking. Washington will probably be undefeated when they come into that game. I mean, that's going to be a good game.
And then Colorado at home with the new Dion.
Not worried about Colorado.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. They're not going to be that good.
I hope they go. I hope they get one win.
I think the Deion Sanders experiment is going to blow up in Colorado's face.
Maybe.
You can do well at Jackson State, pulling in some 4- and 5-star recruits, and you got like 3 of them. But when you're in the Pac-12, pretty much everybody on that field is a 4- and 5-star recruit.
3, 4, 5.
That's the way it is. Yeah. So what he's doing at Colorado, you're having to beat other teams with top talent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I'll be honest, if I'm a cornerback, I will go to school at Colorado because name a better cornerback in that ever played than Deion Sanders. Even with his missing toes, name a better. He's going to make you the very best out there. But every other position, I'm sorry, man, you're not going to get those best kids. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I think with Utah's Achilles heel is in the first part of the season usually. So usually Whittingham's pretty good down the stretch. So I think if they're going to take an L, they're going to take it in the first 2 games, one of them, or they might lose. And they play USC at home, so at USC, so I could see them losing that game this time. So I think they're going to have two losses.
Do you guys really think, though, that USC has that quote-unquote home field advantage like they had when they don't?
They're going to this year.
Seattle's coach.
Their fan base is excited about.
No, they're not.
Man.
They're not, though. It's not electric like it was during those Reggie Bush years and stuff. That place was on fire when they were the only team in LA. They were the only team in LA. Yeah. There's no pro teams at all, and that place was on fire. And it's not like that anymore. That's the problem with the Pac-12. It's 1/3 full stadiums except for the University of Utah and Oregon. Everybody else has partially filled stadiums.
That's why they're shrinking the stadiums.
It's true.
University of Arizona State changed their stadium from 70,000 to 50.
Yeah, and the Pac-12 should give thanks to the Utes for the championship game because the last few years before that, maybe half full at very best in the Pac-12 championship.
If we ranked the Pac-12's top fan groups, I think Utah should be number one. You guys are crazy. Unrealistic and crazy at times, but
it's got a good team though. Good teams do that. If the Utes were 2-10 every year, they're not going to be fanatics. They're not going to be like that.
No, I think. Well, what are they going to do? Okay, are they going to build a statue for old Kyle when he's gone? Is he going to have like his old buddy Lavelle? Is he going to have his likeness outside the University of Utah stadium?
Be hard not to.
How could you not?
It's a great coach. Best coach that the Utes have ever had.
I think he single-handedly got him into the big-time football. So yeah.
Well, no, Urban Meyer got him there. I don't care what anybody says. Urban Meyer got him there. Yes, he did. Without Urban Meyer, it didn't catapult him. If you put, he created the Muse. He created that student section. He created the atmosphere, the philosophy, the mentality, and it was very, very good for Kyle not to get hired before Urban was because Kyle sat 2 years under Urban and understood what it takes to continue that. It's not just X's and O's. It's the atmosphere and everything inside it.
He started dancing with younger co-eds at the U, or did that occur later?
Get it there or whatnot. Whatever it takes to do it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So
you say that like there's such a clean program over at BYU. Give me a break.
Absolutely.
Oh, come on.
Can't even compare the two.
Oh, jeez.
Let's talk about this time we talk about BYU schedule. And I'll admit, I'm not wearing blue today because
you are wearing red.
Hey, we have every right to talk about it. That's why we're doing the podcast.
This is probably the only podcast talking about the kittens. Probably the only podcast ever talks about them.
There's quite a few actually out there talking about the kittens.
What expectations do they have?
Okay, I want to hear unrealistic predictions from the two of you because that's all I'll get. I don't expect anything different. But
they're a terrible team.
I'll give you an honest appraisal of how BYU is going to do. No, they're going to win more than that. They're going to be, of course, they're going to win the first two. They're going to lose Arkansas. They're going to beat Kansas, and they're going to beat Cincinnati at home.
Kansas isn't a cakewalk.
Yeah, they're going to beat Kansas.
Yeah, it is. Kansas isn't very good at all. They're not Kansas State. Kansas State's a different story.
Now,
Kansas they're terrible.
As a long-term Cougar fan and knowing how Cougar fans will react after February or September 29th when they're 4-1 going to TCU, they think they're going to win the national championship at that point. They're going to get crushed at TCU. They're going to lose at home to Texas Tech. They're going to lose.
Where do they play Cincinnati? At
home. They're going to beat Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So they're going to lose 3 in a row. All the Texas teams. Boom, boom, boom. And then I think they beat West Virginia. West Virginia is predicted last, by the way.
I'm sorry. Where is that game?
At West Virginia, but West Virginia is not a good team.
They lose there.
I think they beat West Virginia.
Morgantown, first time for BYU.
No, they've been there before.
You thought that Wyoming was tough to go into?
No, BYU's been to Morgantown before. Yeah, they're going to play Iowa State and Oklahoma to finish off their home schedule.
Iowa State's a good team. Iowa State packs it in. Good team.
I think Iowa State and Oklahoma are both going to smoke them.
I don't think so. And not at home. Yeah. They have a shot. I don't say they're going to win them.
I don't think the Kittens win a pack. I don't think the Kittens win a Big 12 game.
I do. Oh, yeah, they're gonna. They're gonna beat Kansas.
You don't have the talent.
Cincinnati.
You don't have the talent for it.
They're gonna beat both of them.
You have no talent, dude.
I'm sorry, guys. They're gonna win 5 games this year.
What?
Yep.
No.
Well, you can. I'll put money on it. You guys are freaking you fans. You guys are ridiculously biased.
You don't have any money.
I'm not biased. I just know they have no talent.
Anything you guys said is any.
They have no talent
when it comes to BYU.
Hey.
You guys are so biased that it doesn't even matter what your opinion is.
Well, when we beat you like 13 straight years, we have a reason to be biased.
Well, we just beat you the last time, so until you guys beat us again.
Once in 10 years, woohoo.
Well, we'll see. Well,
what's that record? What's the overall record again?
We beat you 20 times in the years before in a row.
What's the overall record, Carl? What's the overall record? What is it?
Well, if you're going to the
you want to go over that?
Who gives a shit about that period of time?
Do you want to go over the overall record?
Who gives a shit about the 80s?
Since you were alive, Brent, BYU's won more.
You want to bet on that?
Yeah, let's look.
Okay. Since 1970.
1970. Okay, let's see.
Carl.
What?
I'm a little bit concerned that you've been hitting the magic mushrooms this early.
Yeah. No, I haven't been, actually. I'll have to look at it. It'll take us more in this podcast. But we'll have the answer for you next week.
No,
I can't look it up that quick.
You just quit talking and go find the answer.
Because you just looked it up and saw the number. Now you're scared about it.
Should we talk basketball too? Should we talk basketball
No, let's talk about we're talking about football.
Oh, okay. All right.
I would like to point out you're wearing red.
That's because my Buckies.
And your shirt?
My Buckies. No, because that was the closest thing I had. I didn't want to look for a blue shirt.
You haven't been able to find that? You haven't been able to find that? You haven't been able to find it?
We came up with this subject at the last minute last night. I didn't have time to watch my BYU stuff.
All right. Cougars versus Utes. Record. You didn't even look, Carl. You stopped looking because you knew you were going to get your ass handed to you.
You're afraid that
I'm not afraid at all. This is boring podcasting time, though, guys.
No, it is. And you can edit this long part out. That's easy.
Well, I'm trying to fill the time, but you keep talking. So,
hey, I have every right to talk about BYU as you guys talk about the Utes.
All right, here we go.
Kiss my ass.
Nonsense.
Here we go.
Ridiculous.
Right, so Sean, you keep tabs on the Ute wins, okay?
Okay.
Carl, you keep tabs on the Cougar wins, okay?
All right.
Ready?
Well, that should be
19.
Count those on 2 hands.
All right, go ahead.
1970. I'm going back to 1970. All right, so Utah's in the left column here. All right, so 1970, Utes win. 71, Utes win. 72, Cougars win. 73, Kittens win. 74, Kittens win. 75, Kittens win. 76, Kittens win. 77, Kittens win. 78, Utes win. 79, Kittens win. 80, Kittens win. 81, Kittens win. Are you counting, Carl, or are you just typing?
I lost count.
Okay. All right. It's 80. Am I on 82? 81. Okay. 82, Kittens win. 83, Kittens. 84, Kittens. 85, Kittens. 86, Kittens. 87, Kittens. 88, Utes. 89, Kittens. 90, Kittens. 91, Kittens. 92, Kittens. All right, 93 Utes, 94 Utes, 95 Utes, 96 Kittens, 97 Utes, 98 Utes, 99 Utes, 2000 Kittens, 2001 Kittens, 2002 Utes, 2003 Utes, 2004 Utes, 2005 Utes, 2006 Kittens, 2007 Kittens, 2008 Utes, 2009 Kittens, 2010 Utes, 11 Utes, 12 Utes, 13 Utes, 14 Utes, 15 Utes, 16 Utes, 17 Utes, 18 Utes, 19 Utes, and 21 Kittens. Okay. Sean, how many do you have?
Like 300.
You lost count?
You didn't even count.
How'd you lose count?
Come on,
oh, my God.
I lost count.
Oh,
All right, Carl, what do you have?
You can't
Carl,
do this.
Carl, what do you have? What do you have, Carl? What do you have, Carl?
As far as BYU wins?
Yes. What do you have as far as the BYU wins, I said?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
You didn't count as I gave them to you?
18. Yeah,
Carl,
19,
you do the Utes.
no,
So
20. 21. I have 21.
21? All right. So here are the Utes. Here are the Utes since then. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Which page are you looking at, by the way?
5, 6, 7, 8. That's Wikipedia with all the scores.
Oh.
What else would I look at? All right. Again, Utes. 1, 2, 3.
Do they have a BYU versus
4,
Utah?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 for the Utes, and for the Cougars, remember that, 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27, 24 during my lifetime.
Yeah, see, I told you. I knew that.
You didn't
because
know
BYU dominated when you were a pubescent teenager.
I know. I started reading them scores from like 72 through
80. Well,
92. Yeah.
I
think the Utes won 3 times in that span.
Even Kyle admits Lavelle was a pretty good coach.
What?
So
I don't think there's any. I think every Ute fan will tell you that.
Nobody is ever going to deny that Lavelle wasn't a good coach. I mean, that would be stupid.
Overall, it's 59 to 32.
62-35. Right.
This one here says 59-32 overall.
So
I'll even give you that one.
BYU doesn't consider their first 8 games or something like that.
They don't consider the 1800s.
Those ass whoopings?
Well, you know what's funny, though? They would count 3 of those as BYU victories if that was the case. But, yeah, they don't count anything after 1922.
I think this one here they start, 1922. Yeah. When it's 49 to nothing.
BYU Academy at the time, and actually it was a high school. So it was
still a high
good
school.
Gap of 22 years between playing each other. Wow. I didn't know that.
At that time, God, you look at the beginning of the series, until Lavelle came in, it was a bloodbath.
By Utah.
It was a bloodbath, man.
BYU in the mid-60s won a few games, but that was it. And they won. I think they rushed the field or tried to they tore everything down and when they won in 58 because it was a big deal. But, they sucked. I think one year BYU cheated. They got a lot of Marine Corps guys to come in. And that was how they beat them one time too. So, Lavelle changed everything. BYU was nobody's before that. Lavelle came in as coach. So, I'm honest about BYU. That's why I say they're going to win 5 games. If they don't, Kalani's fired.
No, they won't fire him.
Oh, yeah, they will.
Do you really think they should fire him, though?
They got rid of Tuyaki this year.
Not after 1 year of Big 12.
You might be right about that, Sean, but they will fire Kalani eventually.
They will give him 3 years.
No.
And who are you going to get better than him?
Who are they
I don't like the Kittens.
Fans are about how good they are.
I don't like the Kittens,
but
the guy's a good coach. I know, we do. We do talk to you every week, as Sean said.
I have a group. Well, you can talk to old Greg Walker. He's on the same board. Those guys are nuts, man. They freak out if they don't get a first down. I mean, if their defense allows a touchdown, it's like, come on, boys. We're in the Big 12 now. We're going to lose some games. So, 5 games is not unrealistic, though. Because 2 of them are gimmies. Those are the first 2 games of the year. All we're talking about is 3 wins. They're already ranked. The Big 12 itself is saying that they're better than 4 of the teams. So
they're gonna have a couple of games that they lose to teams that you don't expect because that's the way they are.
Oh, you can say that about every team, including Utah.
That's what I'm saying about. That's why I'm saying I don't think they'll beat Kansas because they're going to lose a game that they probably should have won.
Well, no, I think they're going to get boat raced at Arkansas, and it's going to piss them off. I think they will be actually up for Kansas. I think if they beat Arkansas, then you're right. They will lose to Kansas. But they're not going to beat Arkansas. That's ridiculous, especially in Arkansas, where it's humid and it's nasty. They're going to get their ass kicked. So, not too... no, I don't think Kansas is that good, Sean. I really don't.
Kansas is not good at all. They're terrible.
Yeah,
they're not a good football team. They're not a good football team.
And
Kansas State is a different story.
Doesn't even have a quarterback this year. So I think they're going to beat Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has a good coach, though.
Yeah,
they got people.
He's gone.
He did? Where's he at?
Yeah, he went up the ranks. That guy's gone.
Where?
They have a new coach.
I thought he stayed.
Yeah, he's gone. So that's why they don't predict him to be high. They're ranked. They're second to last in the predictions of the Big 12 conference meetings. So
where'd he go?
No, I don't think they're going to be that good.
Where did he go?
So, I'll look it up. Let's see. I just remember
Cincinnati head coach.
Yeah, I think he moved to
Scott
a big school.
Satterfield. Yeah, he's the same guy. Scott Satterfield. He's the same guy. He replaced Tommy Tuberville. They got the same coach.
No, Scott Satterfield was a brand new coach. He was hired on December 5th. Yes, he is. Look at the freaking headline on it.
Scott Satterfield is the current coach. He replaced Tommy Tuberville following latter resignation in 2016 season.
Wait a minute. It says it here in the Google. It says December 5th, 2022. Is that wrong?
That was 2022. Let's see.
December of 2022 was the end of last season.
When was...
Yeah.
Huh.
You're talking Luke Fickell, I think. The University of Cincinnati. Yeah, he moved on. I think he's at Wisconsin now.
So they hired... Scott Satterfield is current coach.
Yeah, he's a new coach at Wisconsin.
Tuberville.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Ooh.
Yeah.
So this guy, Scott Satterfield, he's the guy that was from Appalachian State.
Oh.
The Giant Killers.
Yeah, that's why you guys are being kind of... You guys don't really know as much as I do about
He's from Appalachian State, man. The guy, the Giant Killers. What do you mean, who cares? Michigan does.
They're not winning in Cougar Stadium. I'm sorry, guys. That's just not going to happen.
They will win 49-0. There'll be people leaving the seats by the second quarter.
No, you're wrong. See, this is where your Ute hatred of BYU interrupts
just
your
realistic,
sense
Carl.
of logic. It's
just realistic. It's just realistic.
No, it's not realistic. You guys have never been realistic about it. That's the problem.
That guy is a great coach, Carl. He's
not a great coach. He coached at Appalachian State.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about
look at who they beat.
State?
They were ranked.
They
were ranked last year.
Conference.
They were ranked. They beat Giant Killers.
They
are Giant Killers.
They beat one big team.
No, they didn't.
That was it.
No, they didn't. They beat North Carolina last year.
They beat North Carolina.
Look at their record last year.
They beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yes.
Michigan.
They did.
Dude, you guys. Oh, who's the coach? Oh, he's been there forever. He's going to kill BYU. Oh, wait, he's not there. You guys didn't even know who the coach was.
Well, we do now.
It's that Appalachian.
Well, we do now.
He's going to win now. Oh, bullshit.
Well, he is.
All I said was that he's a good coach.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. They're going to lose to BYU at Provo. Sorry.
Okay.
It's just going to happen.
All right.
So, I mean, you guys are going to be wrong. I'm going to be right. And then you guys are going to eat crow because I'm going to make sure you do.
It's impossible for you to say that.
Yeah, I'm not.
You cannot.
Okay.
So you're going to guarantee that win.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Guarantee.
So at that game when they lose,
guarantee.
you're going to wear Cincinnati. You're actually going to sing the Cincinnati song.
I will sing the Bearcat song on the next podcast after that game if they lose the game. And then if they don't lose the game, you two will sing the Cougar fight song.
No, because we're not guaranteeing it. You are guaranteeing it.
Yep.
That's the difference.
Hey, I'll sing the Cougar fight song right now. I'm going to marry 12 wives this year.
I thought it was, I am a child
Okay.
of God.
Let's go with Get Off My Lawn. I've actually got a good one. Get Off Your Lawn, because we've beat the hell out of this football one. It's too early anyway. All right. So I was reading a Wall Street Journal article, and I don't know. This was in Florida. I went into several. I guess I don't know. They're the kind of food places where you go up to the counter, order your coffee or your soft drink, and then they hand it to you. You walk out the door. But as you're giving them your credit card, of course, they want a tip. So I've been noticing that's been happening more and more at more retail establishments. Now, Brent and I were talking before the podcast about can't think of any place exactly that like a shoe store, place like that asks for tips. But could be. I don't know. But it's starting to get under my craw a little bit because to me, and this according to the Wall Street Journal Post too, they think it's a reaction to not wanting to pay higher wages because of the cost of living increases because of inflation. And so more and more employers are allowing this to be added or pushed by their staffs when people come in, because they know at least 30% of the public are going to tip no matter what.
I get tired of that.
I'm sick and tired of it because, frankly, if I go to a sit-down restaurant where I actually am served by someone that's only making $2 an hour, here in Utah, that's the case. I don't know if in your state you guys are a little smarter than we are, but minimum wage, I don't even think it's based on minimum wage here. It's just you get $2.13 an hour plus your tips. But for the guy working at the local Quick Stop or QT, he's getting 10 to 15, 20 bucks an hour. I see the signs on their doors. And then on top of that, they're wanting tips for these guys. What do you guys think?
No. Unless I'm being served, sat down, served, no. The only exception is if it's a place that I frequent once a week, they're a local restaurant, and I decide just out of my kindness just to give them a tip because I want to help them do better. That's my decision. But if I'm walking into a place first time, absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
100% agree. I'm with you. No,
okay. Get off my lawn.
Crazy.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Get off my lawn, businesses. You guys pay your people, even if it's an extra $1 an hour. I mean, the other one that really gets me is the shakedown on, I'll go to a Del Taco or some other place, and they'll be like, do you want to donate $1.50, $1 or $2 to this charity? I'm like, I'm not coming in here to donate to charities. I'm donating to get a damn taco, and I don't want to be made to feel guilty if I don't donate to March of Dimes right now. I mean, there's plenty of places I can donate to March of Dimes.
Carl, do you hate disabled children?
Yeah, exactly what they're trying to say.
Hey,
I'm waiting for that.
Look,
do you hate disabled children? Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Hey, look, when I'm getting my fucking taco, yes, I hate everybody.
Every damn one of them.
Give me my fucking taco so I can get out of here. That's all I want.
Taco, damn it.
That's all I want.
Exactly. I agree with Brent. Anyway. Okay.
Good one, Carl. Good one, Carl.
Get off your lawn. Anyway, anybody else?
I got one. You got one, Sean? Go ahead, Sean.
So I read a story this week about a former lawmaker in New Hampshire, I think it was, who was arrested. Him and his girlfriend were, she were arrested for child pornography. So this lawmaker, transgender female, and her girlfriend, she worked at a child care center and was
I'm so confused.
taking pictures of little kids, and they had 10,000 text messages between them talking about the things that they wanted to do with these little kids, and some things that apparently this girl did do to kids and took pictures of. So Get off my lawn is to tell
this
anybody.
Was a chick with a Vienna sausage.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta make sure I'm clear.
It's a man.
It's a man. It's a dude.
It's a mentally ill man.
Biological male.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so they have it's really, really horrific, and so get off my lawn is to anybody who hurts a child and is trying to normalize anything to do with sexualization of children. Get off my lawn, you perverts.
That's why I wonder why there's so many people being so anti, especially Rolling Stones and a couple of those others about that.
They're trying to normalize it, Carl. Trying to normalize it.
Bunch of evil bastards.
Yep.
Sorry.
I've generally become against the death penalty, but I'm okay with it for anybody who hurts kids.
Did you hear Trump this week? Yeah. Did you hear what he said about traffickers? They should get the death penalty immediately.
I honestly, I don't pay attention to most news stuff. I can't stand it.
I agree with Sean.
Because
half of it's bull crap and half of it's tainted. The news stories are completely...
Can I say this about Florida, though? It was nice to be in a location where people seem a lot more sane. I mean, Utah is getting to the point where it's getting nuts here, especially Salt Lake. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, I was in St. Augustine and go around the corner, and there's this anti-Biden sign proudly displayed in the main walkway where everybody's walking, and no one's tearing it down. No one's saying anything negative. I mean, it just seems like people are more sane there. I do not know what's going. I don't know what's going wrong in this country, but it's falling apart fast. The sanity. I mean, the other day Sean sent me this last night. Sean, you remember the video on Twitter of that lady,
woman running around Safeway,
naked,
taking cakes out of the cake display,
rubbing them all over her body,
rubbing them up and down her body. Oh my gosh!
She wasn't so. Yeah. Anyway, the naked part wasn't exciting at all. The fact that no one was stopping.
You at first.
Yeah, I thought so too. But anyways, a little. Well,
I thought it was a man too.
Anyway, the reality was no one was. But that was the funny thing. They said, "Well, we can't stop her. We just have to let her do it." It's just like,
well,
because nobody wants to touch her.
I mean, looking at that video, would you want to go up to her and try to get her to stop it? First of all, she's a large person. She might be difficult to handle. Second of all, she's naked. Third of all, she's got cake all over her. I don't want to get that crap.
You didn't go to Little League football? They didn't teach you how to do a tackle? Take her down?
I just said I don't want to touch somebody that's gotten cake rubbed all over them.
Keep a garbage sack over you. You know? Anyway, that what I'm trying to say, though, is this... maybe it's just... more sane down in the South. Tennessee, are you guys as wacky as some of the things going on that we're dealing with here in Utah?
It's a different level of wackiness. Different.
Anyway.
Their wackiness is going out in the woods and making alcohol.
Well, and your cousin's cousin. Is it really your... Anyway, first cousin, second cousin. Who do you marry? Right, Brent?
No. Doesn't go on here.
Yeah,
That's not Tennessee. That's Kentucky.
That's Kentucky. Right. Okay.
All right, you ready for mine? You ready for mine?
Yeah, we're ready.
None of this cousin lover stuff here. Mine, somewhat along the same lines, not quite as extreme as Sean's, but this Megan Rapinoe, who retired from soccer, women's soccer, claiming that yes, they should allow trans men into playing women's sports. It's not going to affect anything. It's going to keep the competition just as it is. And I'm sorry, but you're 100% wrong. If I was wrong about that, then you would see more trans females transitioning into men entering men's sports. And we don't see that outside of, and I'm not talking about the 8 and 9-year-old girl who's playing Little League baseball who can compete. Nothing against her at all. She can compete there. But at that time, when men start growing into men's bodies, you can't compete. It's just true women athletes will tell you that. So that's my get off the lawn. Let's quit this quote unquote acceptance, and when you're leaving the sport saying that they're going to be okay, because if you do that, you're going to have a bunch of men dressed as women in your sport, eliminating every single true woman in the sport.
Did you see the women's soccer team, the video of them playing the division, that men's team, or what, the club
team? They got annihilated. They got Division 3.
Like 15-0 or something like that.
D3.
And there was a guy my age out there scoring on Will. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's my get off the lawn moment.
Sorry, Megan Rapinoe, but you're crazy.
Yeah, you're wrong. You shouldn't earn as much as the men, and you certainly shouldn't have men playing on the women's team.
Okay, this is the one thing I'm going to say about the earnings. If the ticket revenue and TV revenue, if all of those things, sure, if they were the same, absolutely. But if you need to be paid off of what the sport earns, and if the sport's not earning much, then you're going to only get what they earn. Sorry.
Now, hey, I've got one question on WNBA. Do you guys know anything about that Griner gal?
Yeah, Griner.
Is Griner
transition?
No.
Okay.
She's a woman.
She's got a really deep voice, though. She takes
no hormone pills. I mean,
does she?
Okay. Stuff. Yeah, but
she's 6'5", or she's pretty tall, isn't she?
Pretty tall.
I think she's like 6'8". But
she's pretty tall.
She's changed her tune a little bit since she came home from that gulag.
Prison will change that in Russia.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question, and I guess we can go into another podcast later. But what sport on the women's side does it outperform men's sports in terms of
the
TV
same
revenue?
Sport? Is it the same sport, like men's gymnastics versus female gymnastics?
I'm talking any sport. Does it out? Okay, I didn't think so.
No, but if you want to play apples to apples,
I think maybe tennis.
Tennis.
I
think
no.
Tennis. No.
No.
The numbers are
hold
not.
Hold on. I would say though that there are men that the Williams sisters could beat in a one-on-one match in tennis.
No, Serena came out recently. I'll send you the Twitter video. She came out and admitted this is ridiculous. She couldn't beat the 400th ranked guy.
Did you see Serena
said that.
John McEnroe said something about that a few years ago, and people had a cow, but she agreed with him.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a few tennis. I personally think there's a few tennis players that she could be. I'm not saying like the top of the top, but like gosh,
not
so strong. I mean, heads and tails above every other woman.
I agree, and tails. As far as females, no one can match her. But as far as on the male tour, no one. She wouldn't be able to beat anybody on the male tennis tour, pro tour. Now, if you want to compare her to some commentator,
I would watch it. I would watch her play against somebody.
Out of tennis for years, yeah.
No. I'm talking about head-to-head competition and stuff.
Yeah, no, man. That was talked about already. No, we're talking. I'm just saying head-to-head. I mean, the only thing I could think of maybe would be in cycling. Maybe not.
Are you
hell,
kidding
I don't
me?
know. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Fishing. It could be a sport like that, like archery, maybe.
No.
Fishing and NASCAR and fishing, where there's no physical ability needed.
That lady that did the Indy 500, she had some pretty good numbers.
She did,
PR wise. She didn't win much, but she was.
But she competed though. She competed
against males.
Yeah.
It wasn't other females. Yeah. See, I think if more females could break into the male sports, those females would have an argument.
Yeah, but the reason why she's successful is there's no physical attribute in driving a car. Just making a left turn. Make a left turn. Left turn.
Yeah.
Step on the pedal.
I'm not going to say that there is none, but there's not as much as something like football, baseball, those traditional sports.
What about esports?
Oh, God.
That doesn't count.
Hey, our younger generation cares, guys.
I don't care. If you have to put an E in front of it, it's not a sport.
Yeah, sorry. It's like an e-cig.
Right. Our demographics are going to go to hell now. Thank you, boys.
I know, right?
All right. Anyway.
I think it's been a good one, guys.
People don't like the truth. That's too bad.
All right. Well, hey, we have a special guest on next week. Right, Brent?
Hope so.
Right.
Yep, we're looking forward to it.
We'll look forward to it. And by the way, happy birthday, Lorraine.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope you had a great birthday breakfast with your hubby.
See you guys.
All right, guys. You guys have a good weekend.